Hi everyone, I'm Mark Sloan with GlyphEd. If you guys are like me or my kids, I'm guessing you have sent an emoji in the last week or two or received one. An emoji is simply a visual expression of an idea or an emotion. That's what we do, but we do it for data. A lot of times data on campuses in the corporate world gets stuck in a table, in a database, in a data warehouse. Our software, and I'll get into what it does, helps you see more of your data and helps you see it quickly so you can get on to taking action against the data. Or, said more effectively by Don Bishop, one of our customers at Notre Dame, it helps improve productivity and quality. So what is it? It's a revolutionary data visualization software tool. We're targeting the higher ed market. We've got three main focuses right now. The first is enrollment management. So this is helping recruit, identify good candidates for the school. It's planning travel costs. It's then on the admission side, how do I make my class? And then finally, it's on the retention side, and taking some of the data that Sabina's talked about and helping make sure that the students stay in school and the school maintains their revenue. On the academic research side, it's helping researchers more quickly make sense of the data that they have and cut through the chase. And on the curriculum side, it's helping close the employment gap, and I'll get into some of the numbers that Gartner and McKinsey have put out on shortage of data analyst roles, but we've got a professor using the software in the classroom. Ultimately, as I said kind of earlier, we help you see more, know more faster in your data. So why are we doing it? Because like you, everybody has more data today than yesterday. Great things like the Common App have allowed kids to go from applying to 5 schools to 10 to 15 to 20. So the number of applications that each school has gone up. The number that the average admissions officer has to read 1,000 files a year to make decisions, and that's just on the admissions side. On the recruiting side, it's how do we find candidates outside of our normal markets. On the retention side, it's how do we make sense of engagement, how do we make sense of academics, financial need of the student. On the research side, what we found is the average researcher spends 80% of her time collecting and aggregating and collating data, 20% analyzing it. We want to speed that up. And finally, on the curriculum side, we want to address this skill gap and make data scientists out of non-data scientists. So how do we do that? We're offering a new way of looking at data. On the left is a traditional bar chart, right? We're all familiar with that. I can get a macro level view of units over time, and I can see how that variable has changed month over month, year over year, right? But it's a macro level view. Why did it go up? Why did it go down? What we do on the right, this is what we call a glyph. It's a collection of geometric objects. Like on the left, we map data to properties of size, shape, color, position to communicate meaning, right? It's this concept of this is an emoji for the data. I know you guys don't know the legend yet, but I can tell you that this is a male student who happens to be Catholic because they're wearing that halo. This is the University of Notre Dame's data, so that's important. The central element is green. They were accepted in the university. The other data is more context about who they are and what they are. I'm not asking you to memorize that. You might even think, hey, that's a little complicated, right? How do I digest all that? Well, we do this today every single day, right? When you see the pink ribbon today, you know that means breast cancer. I saw somebody in here with team colors on with the football jersey, so I know that they like football and they like the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Or whatever school that they're wearing, it's saying something about who they are. So humans do this each and every day, and ultimately the technology that we've built this on is we're commercializing federally funded R&D into glyphs, into ultimately the Department of Defense and intelligence community studied this because they wanted to get more data in the mind of an analyst or warfighter quickly so that they could make life-saving decisions. So we are actually a partnership with the University of Notre Dame. They're providing insight, expertise, guidance as we build these visualizations. We've also been out to many other schools, so all those user personas, we've done hundreds of user interviews trying to drill into what people need. Myself, I've got a 25-year track record in the technology industry, an MBA from the Wharton School here in Philly. I've built a company from 2 to 1,600 in the span of 4 years and done other entrepreneurial things. And I'm surrounded by an excellent team of entrepreneurs. Quick little story, on the research side, Chris Schultz at Duke University came to us and she had already published, she'd already analyzed her data. She was picked to present at a conference. She came to us because she wanted some eye candy. She wanted her data to look pretty. She replicated the same 7 findings in her data faster, hindsight's 20/20, but more importantly, she found a life-saving insight that they had missed with traditional methods. So schools are signing up. They're using us across the spectrum, as I said, to help identify candidates for school, build their class, keep them engaged on the research side. And then we've got Dr. Palmer at John Carroll University using us in the classroom for the last couple of years to teach his students about data visualization, about data analytics. And the fun part was they did things with our software that we didn't know it actually could do. So we've learned from them. And he did an exercise with kids who had no experience with our software a year ago. They answered questions with our software twice as fast as they did with Excel. Not a formal academic study, I have to caveat that. He's doing the research now. So as we think about the market, there are about 3,000 schools in the US that we believe we can target. We've got each of these modules. On average, we're earning about $25,000 per school per module, and we're actually getting pulled into many other directions. Career services, advancement, and others on campus so we can land and expand. So we're the emoji for data. Green got in, red didn't. The one in the middle, undecided yet. Who does he look more like? That's the story.
Thank you. Thanks. Great presentation. Regarding the, you said you're making about $25K per module per school. Mm-hmm. On average, how many, can you give us a little bit of a picture of the modules that seem to be getting traction? And how many modules would you expect that a school might be interested in?
So we're still figuring that out. John Carroll's using it both in enrollment management to help with retention, and they're using it in the classroom. So there we've been able to sell 2 of the modules. Other schools, primary focus has been enrollment management and picking up there. We've kind of opportunistically stumbled into research with Chris and at Duke, and she's helping us land and expand with other schools. I've got conversations out at Notre Dame with some of their researchers coming up. Those are annual fees. Correct.
Mark, whether you like it or not, there are so many people who use spreadsheet and they're used to it over a period of time, right? They understand the graphs much better today.
Yes.
I agree that the visualization could be better, but it is heavily controlled by the software industry. There are BI tools, there are these spreadsheets of the world. Why did you pick this particular initiative, and why education? Why not any other industry? Finance sector could be the largest one there, right?
Yep.
Why education there?
So in part, the core horizontal software behind GlyphEd can be applied to any industry. So as we first got going, it was a company called Singlifics that still exists, and it's going after more of a horizontal approach. As we had showed what we were doing with Notre Dame, they helped make the connection to say we need this in the enrollment management office. We could probably use it in the career services office, and that's where they became our partner. They've invested in the company, and they're helping drive a focus and solving particular problems. In part, it's because as I've talked to enrollment management leads, most folks in the enrollment management office aren't data scientists. Right? They don't all know how to do a lot of what some of them do in Excel, but most of them don't. And so this is a way that they can come together, they can look at the data, they're using it in review committee. Instead of looking at tabular data and going across and, hey, are we on line H or line G, and where are we? They're looking at the glyphs and they're narrowing in on why did you make this exception for this student, and they can tell the holistic story with the glyph that they can't do as effectively with the spreadsheet.
And can you help me with the glyph and the product itself?
Sure.
Meaning data visualization can be a wide range of different type of visualization. You seem to have this iconic kind of square that represents a person.
Right.
Is that the product, or are there lots of different variations of data visualization? So help me better understand the product.
It's similar to this. So there's 2 components to the product. There's the builder tool where you construct the visualization, and the builder has pretty strong flexibility to configure the glyph how they want it to be. They can pick objects, they can append them and put them in different structures as they see best fit. And then there's the viewer, where once the visualization's built, you point it to your data warehouse and you're up and running and filtering and seeing the data. So what we're selling is really 2 components. First, it's pre-built visualizations into enrollment management It's some pre-built visualizations into research, and it's a starter kit in the curriculum. And then coming behind that, people always say, well, I'd like another visualization, I'd like another one. So as we see scaling, we see selling them the builder, and they can learn to build their own visualizations. I equate it to learning to read and write. We all first learn to read and then learn to write. So we're kind of priming the market with pre-built visualizations, teaching them to read the glyphs. And then people always ask, hey, I want to do another one. I want to append this data on there. And then it's easier to teach them to write.
All right, so I've got a couple quick. So one is on the module side. I guess how many customers have paid for at least one module with you guys to date?
So we've got 8 schools plus a consulting firm that focuses on enrollment management that have paid. We've really only been out selling it for the last 9 months.
Sure.
We spent the first 9 months building it and testing it at Notre Dame.
And that's my second question is how are you guys acquiring more customers?
Yep. So it's a combination of presenting at conferences like this. We spoke at an ACT conference, a Ruffalo Noel Leverett conference, and attracting attention that way. We're doing direct email marketing. Notre Dame is helping open doors through their friends and family, and so it's it's a lot of shoe leather and getting out there and talking to people. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.